Welcome, welcome, everybody. Getting settled in here. Oh, it's so good to see you all. All right, I don't think there's a very good way for me to fade this out. My Spotify DJ fade. We'll see if this works. Ooh. All right.
Oh, good job.
Thank you for being here, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I think I heard some of us are first timers here, so just want to quickly say you're here at the mixer. Thank you for being here. My name is Alex, and I use she/her pronouns. I work for the Office of Film and Music and the Office of Arts and Culture, and I have the pleasure of working to bring us all together with our wonderful hosts and speakers tonight, and all of you all, of course. Just want to encourage, it looks like you're already doing that. We just want to keep in touch with each other. This is a space for us to make connections with each other, and also to really, hear what's been going on in this crazy year with the creative economy. So we will, as you probably can tell, we are recording this session. We are going to do some breakout sessions later. Those won't be recorded. Those will just be spaces where we can talk openly. So with that, I would just like to hand it off to my good friend Daniel Pak, who will be our MC for the night. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Alex. It is a joy to be here with you all tonight. Welcome to the mixer. Although I've been in Seattle for 22 years, I'm originally from Hawaii. And so I want to offer you all a very warm aloha from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being here. My name is Daniel Pak. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, co-founder of Totem Star, which is a youth record label here in Seattle. We've been going strong for 10 years. I also serve on the Seattle Music Commission as the chair of the Youth and Community Committee. And most importantly, I am your host tonight for the mixer. So thank you all for joining in and tuning in. We have an incredible lineup of education and speakers and celebration tonight, some prizes. Before we kick off the mixer, I'd like to take a brief moment to do a little land acknowledgement. Although we are here gathering virtually, let's all acknowledge that the work we do, the art that we create, the lives that we build is taking place on the unceded ancestral lands of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people. Can we all take a brief moment of silence to acknowledge our deep gratitude for the Duwamish people, the original stewards of this land, and a people who are very much still here today. Thank you all. Thank you all. We are all here today because we all work as creatives, as advocates, as artists, as organizers in arts and culture. And it is all our job to elevate arts and culture and increase its value proposition in this city, our city of Seattle. So we do have a amazing co-host tonight. Her name is Beth Barrett. You'll hear so Beth Barrett is with the Seattle International Film Festival and the Film Task Force. And you will hear from her in just a bit. And she's got a lot of incredible prizes for you all, some great arts experiences. But before we get into that, let's see who's in the room right now. For all of you, you know that Zoom has different views. If you go to the top right, you'll see that you can have either a speaker view where you'd highlight the speaker, but you also have the gallery view. So let's do a little exercise. Why don't we all go to gallery view and let's all turn our cameras off. All right, let's just turn off the video, everybody off, okay? Trust the process, trust the process. All right, we're gonna see who's in the room, all right? Is everybody's camera off? There we go, there we go. All right, everybody cameras off. I still see some folks with cameras on. I know you love looking at yourself because you're all so beautiful, but let's turn the cameras off. Okay, now, we're gonna do a little game here. We wanna see who's in the room. I want everybody to turn on your camera if you work in film? Where's all the film folks at? Ooh, look at that. We got the film crew going strong. Look at that. Ooh, look at that film. Wow, there are a lot of film folks in the room. Okay, well, I know who to look for my next music video. I'm gonna hit up all of you, all right? My next music video, I'm gonna hit you all up. We're gonna make some magic happen. Okay, film, cameras off. Cameras off. All right, thank you. Thank you for being such great participants. All right, now I want you all to turn your cameras on if you work in music. Where's all the musicians at? There we go. Ooh, look at that. Film's got some competition here. Look at that. Oh, look at that. We strong in the film world. Watch out, film folks. Music. No, I'm just kidding. We got to work together, right? Nice. We got some film. We got some music representation. Beautiful. Beautiful. In fact, now I'm sorry, film folks, but music. Why don't you unmute and make some noise? Music. Unmute.
Can we sing a song?
What do you want to hear?
I was just at Square Feet, Seattle earlier today. I don't know, maybe some of you were there too. And we had a graduation for all the graduates of the Building Art Space Equitably cohort. And dear Matthew Richter encouraged us all to hum Pomp and Circumstance together on Zoom. And we should have recorded it. It was beautiful. Okay, music. Cameras off. Cameras off. Cameras off. Let's go to our next topic. I want you all, we're going to see the legacy status of all the folks in the room. Turn your cameras on if you've been living in Seattle for 10 years. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Ooh, we got lots of, yep. Okay. I see you. All right. Okay. Now, keep your cameras on. Turn your cameras on if you've been living in Seattle for 20 years. Where's all the OGs at?
Man, couldn't you go to like 15
see?
or something like that? You couldn't go to 15, you had to go straight from 10 to 8.
Oh man, we're going to 20. No. We're going to 20. Okay, now, okay, great. Cameras back off. Cameras back off. And finally, turn on your camera if you were born and raised in Seattle. Woo! I'm sorry, but I can't turn my camera on for this. Where's all, oh yeah, look at it.
Look at that.
Nice. Born and raised. Yes, suburbs count, of course. Of course. Okay. All right. All right. That is great. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for playing along. Feel free to turn your cameras back on. We're all here. We see where all our people at. That's great. All right, now I'm gonna pass off the mic to Beth. Beth, where are you at? I hope everyone's
here.
ready
I had
to
my
play some trivia and win some prizes.
I had my camera off because I'm a Midwesterner. Not born and raised in Seattle, but been here 27 beautiful rainy years. So it feels like I should be able to say that I'm from Seattle. So we have a ton of prizes. We've got great communities that have really stepped up to give us some prizes to award to you all tonight. Now, keep in mind that you may have one of these items for yourself, but it is the gifting season. Every season is a gifting season. So you can win one of these for a loved one, a friend, a housemate, someone that you think should have one of these amazing things. We are going to start off with our membership bonanza. We have 5 different memberships. We've got membership to Women in Film. We've got a membership to Northwest Film Forum, 2 memberships to SIFF, and a membership to the Northwest Writers Guild. So how this is going to work is, a little non-scientific. We're going to have you all put the answers to our trivia questions in the chat. And the first one I see, which again, this is the non-scientific part because it'll just be like me looking up. First one I see with a correct answer, call on you and assign you a membership. Now, if there's someone that wins a membership that you like and you would like to try to trade with them, feel free to do that in the chat or in the breakout rooms at the end. So let's start off with, it's just going to be one big question because we're going to bonanza it and speed through. So name one of the pillars of Seattle arts, media, and entertainment that launched in the 1970s. Paul Jackson, you win the Northwest Film Forum. '70s. Terry Morgan, fantastic. How about a Northwest Screenwriters Guild? Reese, Tanimura, how about SIFF? We've still got a Women in Film and a SIFF membership up for grabs. You guys are all so close. Close, Sharon, close. Yes, technically. Oh, we're all so close. I'll give you a hint. Yep, thank you, Megan. Within arts and culture. Up, there you go, David Shannon. There you go. That was, I can't keep track. I think it's a SIFF. So our Women in Film membership is the last one we've got.
I'm sorry, I already forgot the question. What's the question again?
One of the pillars of Seattle arts, media, and entertainment that launched in the 1970s. Thank you, Matt Olson. That would be SIFF. That would be our fifth one. So I'm not keeping track, but hopefully Megan is keeping track. And if you could message Megan Siebold, you'll find her in the list of attendees with your email addresses. We'll get those memberships out to you. So that's the first of 5 rounds of trivia, which is very, very exciting. All right, take it away again, Pat.
Thank you so much, Beth. That was really fun and educational. All right, so let's get into why we're here. In Seattle, we have the inclusive creative industries. This year has really shown us how important it is to come together as a creative community across all the disciplines: film, music, arts, and culture. Now is imperative to protect our industries and our livelihoods. Even prior to COVID, we as a city have started the process of building a stronger, more equitable creative force. In fact, over the last 3 years, 3 major city departments, film and music, economic development, arts and culture, and all the groups that advise them have been working together to support Seattle's creative workers, organizations, and businesses. As someone who has the privilege of and the honor of working with these 3 amazing departments, I see that now more than ever, we're really de-siloing, if you will, these departments and working hand in hand to do this amazing inclusive creative industry work together. Some of that work has been a lot of research, surveys, analyzing labor market data, discovering the racial and economic disparities that occur. We've been listening to people with an emphasis, of course, on our BIPOC communities about their lived experiences and their careers. We've constructed a roadmap, which I have a copy of right here, this roadmap, to further align the work of these offices through the Music Commission, the Arts Commission, and now the new Film Task Force. As a side note, even us being together right now is living up to action 2.1 in the roadmap, which is to encourage the creation of a shareback event as a culmination of community outreach efforts developed by Arts in 2019, continuing the work of the Mixer and these networking events. So we right here in this space are holding ourselves accountable to our community, and we are listening. So all of the conversations in the breakout rooms that we have tonight, we're taking notes, and let's make some recommendations to the work that needs to be done. Because once again, our work together as one unified body for the value proposition of arts and culture is more urgent than ever. And the key to Seattle's economic and cultural recovery work is that we can't recover our industries without creativity. Creativity has to be at the forefront of all that we do. So it is my great pleasure to introduce our first speaker for the evening, to enlighten us about the economic side of this inclusive creative industries equation. It is my honor to introduce my good friend. We've shared some amazing Korean lunches together. The director of the Office of Economic Development. Everyone, please unmute and show your love for Bobby Lee.
Bobby.
Welcome, Bobby.
Welcome, Bobby.
Thanks, everyone. Wow. Hey, Daniel, I'm actually calling in from Korea, and I'm self-quarantined in Korea. And so that's why I'm having to wear a mask. And so I'm 17 hours ahead of you guys. So I can't start drinking yet. And it is 10:30 in the morning, but it's nice to see you all, relaxing and having fun. My day just started, but I am from the future, 17 hours ahead of you all. And it's just nice to connect with someone back in Seattle. I'm visiting my elderly parents, but I wanted to make sure I called in and say hi to all of you. It's been, before I start, I just wanted to also thank staff, Megan and Alex. These two have been carrying the water through this pandemic, which, by the way, is incredibly difficult to do. They rarely get thanked for the work that they do. So if you guys can, and then Chris as well, let's give them a thanks. It's been a hard year, and but they got us through together somehow. So I want to thank them for their great leadership during this time. I also want to share something and also recognize Kate Becker, who is on this call here, with her partnership at the county level. Just having the county, the state also, and local governments also engage in the creative industry in itself is a huge progress. We're trying to move our thinking to, economic development is about the future. And so it's important that we have folks that understands the creative economy in key positions throughout our community. And so having Kate Becker at the county leading the way is also just super cool. And thank you, Kate, for your partnership and for your vision in helping shape a new discussion around the creative industry moving forward. I also, is Randy here? Randy's here, right? Where is Randy? My camera, is he here?
Yes.
Okay. So, hey, I'm sure you all read the newspaper, but it's I'm really mixed about Randy moving on. He has been a great thought partner. He really represents sort of this raw creative spirit, the bold, let's think outside the box, let's break the bureaucracy, let's integrate. He has this very unusual capacity to put a lot of different ideas and help Seattle think in a futuristic way, which a lot of people can't. It's just something that he has this very unusual ability to integrate multiple different disciplines and help narrate the importance of the work that all of you do around the creative industry. And, as all of you know, he has decided to move on. And I just wanted to just publicly thank him for his leadership. It's been a tough year for all of us, but in the arts and the creative world, especially. And so let's give a round of applause to our good friend, Randy. Woo! And Randy's not moving away. He'll still be around. So we'll find a way to plug him in. And so, but it is sad to see him move on. So folks, as Daniel pointed out, the world is changing and the change is accelerating. If you think about where our parents and our grandparents were in the economy, where our grandparents were dealing with the Transcontinental Railroad system, the Industrial Revolution, then to the service economy with our parents, and then to the knowledge economy, which we're experiencing today. If you think about it, we all had to evolve. Our families, our grandparents, over time, we had to learn new skills, understand how to use new tools, and understand how the world is changing so that you can find a decent job to make a living and feed your kids and adopt. Well, this evolution is it doesn't stop. It keeps moving forward. And we're in the cusp of moving from knowledge economy to what some people call the network economy. The names will probably evolve over time as well, because there's no words to describe the future, which is, we don't have the words to even describe the kind of jobs that will exist in the future yet. But as the world is evolving, one thing that's very clear is that the hard skills are creative skills. That is what's going to drive the economy moving forward. And so the work that all of you are doing is fundamentally the most important thing we can do to create new opportunities for Seattle moving as the economy moves into the next emerging economy. Look at the world that we're in right now. The fact that we're using Zoom to communicate with each other, and the world is changing. So the way to, but in economic development, if you're not proactive, then you're going to lose out. And so the inequities in our society it was created in part because we're reacting to the economy rather than positioning Seattleites to take advantage of the changing economy. So this is the time to think about the future. This is the time to be bold. And I want to see the creative industry be the centerpiece in how we evolve and create new opportunities as we evolve our economy to the network economy. The only way we can actually take advantage of the evolving economy is when the private, public, and civic sectors work together. And this is hard. Government is hard to work with. I get it. And so we need to do, from the public side, do a better job in understanding how to evolve quicker and to meet the needs of our creative economy. A lot of folks just don't understand in the private sector. And so you got to teach us. People like Kate Becker and Randy and Megan, these folks are on your side. We need more people to educate the city council. I actually met with the city councilor the other day to talk about the creative economy. She didn't know what it was. So we got to continue to educate folks the importance of creativity as the economy is evolving. And to that end, in terms of the public, private, and civic sector engagement, we tried some really interesting things this year that probably didn't get as much attention, but deserves it. And that is, we had arts department, Randy, Chris Swenson, and my department actually set aside small business grants for the creative industry. The 10% of our small business stabilization grants were earmarked for the creative industry. No other sectors got an earmark. The manufacturing maritime didn't get an earmark. The green tech industry did not get an earmark. Creative industry got an earmark this year. Second is we also pivoted our workforce development dollars. Some of you might have applied for it, career connected learning grants. This is the first time that we've pivoted our workforce development dollars toward the future. And so this is also an exciting pilot that we started. Megan played a big role. Thank you for your leadership around that, and Chris as well. But also making sure that Northwest Folk Life and these type of community-based organizations are funded throughout this COVID period. So making sure our community-based organizations who's doing good work continue to be invested. The bottom line is this, one takeaway that I would like to share. The youth in Seattle, the majority are the minority now. The demographic is changing. They're the future. And if we don't create an inclusive creative industry, then we don't have a creative industry of the future. It's the numbers game. It's not a political issue. It's an economic development strategy as a foundational piece. If we don't create opportunities for young people to get into our field, then the creative industry will not thrive moving forward in the next economy. They are the future, but we gotta learn how to be more inclusive, culturally more sensitive. We gotta find ways to embrace them and celebrate arts with, and that is why investing in culture is a good way, it's a good form of economic development. And so whatever we can do to get young people to be part of the creative industry is good for the creative industry of the future. And this is one area that we would like to work with all of you to promote. And that's why we call it the inclusive creative industry strategy. This is the future. Inclusivity, equity, inclusion is an economic development strategy. That is economic development strategy. And so I look forward to continue to work. We've planted some good seeds. Now what we got to do is help them grow and scale. Looking forward to working with all of you to do that. Thank you all. And thank you for coming out and being part of this. I super appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Really appreciate you calling in all the way from Korea, from the future. You know, I remember the first time that at the Office of Arts and Culture, you gave a presentation about the network economy, and I mean, I was floored by, you know, what we need to do, and to see you working see your office working hand in hand with Randy, Office of Arts, and also Office of Film and Music. I mean, that's exactly what we need to be doing right now, is working in solidarity. Right on. Well, get back to all the kimchi and the bulgogi and all the amazing panchan, and, you know, have some soju for all of us. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna pass the mic to Beth for some more giveaways. Beth.
All righty, well, what I've got now is a participant spot in an experiential learning class at the Vera Project, classes like live streaming with OBS Studio. So I have 3 of these, which is awesome. Thank you, Vera Project. And it's gonna be the first 3 answers I see in the chat that answer this. 49th Parallel, Paris Alexa, and Alex Cade are all alumni of what Seattle-based event? 49th Parallel, Paris Alexa, and Alex Cade. Not quite, Lacey. Pac, there you go. You get 1.
I think Emily Fox also got
Yep,
that in
Emily
there.
Fox is above there. Perfect. Congratulations, Emily. You should all look in the chat, and first person to copy Pac or Emily. Boom, Rowdy. All right, congratulations to our 3 winners of the experiential learning class at the Vera Project. Back to you.
Oh, thanks, Bev. Man, when you're the host of the mixer and you win the prize, I don't know if that's like if that's acceptable, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Right on. So we are moving to another sector of our ecosystem. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you now the acting director of the Office of Film and Music. Funny thing is, yesterday on a Zoom call, we were prepping for this event, and it's funny when you mix personal and private Zoom accounts, because when Chris got onto the call, in his little name on the bottom left, it said Swenson. So I don't know about you all, but I'm gonna keep calling him Swenson from this point on. A little bit about just working with Chris. We worked together through the Seattle Music Commission, and the thing about COVID is, although it really of course has created a isolation and quarantine, in a lot of ways I feel like I've been blessed to be in so many more meetings with Swenson throughout this time, to the point where I feel like every time we get together in a room, I feel like, wow, it's a family reunion again. So, we're doing great work together. So please join me in unmuting and creating sharing some love for the acting director of the Office of Film and Music, Chris Swenson.
Thanks, Buck, for that peek into my password portfolio. Hi, everybody. I am super excited to be here and to have a speaking opportunity and to see everybody here. I wish I could say hello. In fact, I will say hello to everybody individually on the chat. Again, my name, thank you, Pac, is Chris Swenson. I'm the acting director of the Office of Film and Music. I began this role in 2020 and at the beginning of 2020, year of the pandemic. And I am providing tonight the middle of the vision sandwich. You've heard from Bobby, you're going to hear from Randy, and then I want to provide some context on some work that we've done over the past year, and then looking forward to working with you all in the next year. So thank you for that, and thanks for Bobby for that setup. I want to start by looking kind of back into the Wayback Machine into 2019. There were some leadership transitions in the Office of Film and Music and the Office of Economic Development. And someone stepped in to help guide a process that turned out to be an incredibly wonderful and inclusive conversation with the industries that OFM serves. So I wanted to first just give a shout out to Randy Engstrom. Thank you so much for working with us, guiding this process that really, planted seeds and grew roots in 2019, and became the start of what POC is describing, that really silo-breaking conversation between all of these really critical sectors of the creative economy and creative industries. So we set out in early to mid 2019 to begin that conversation. That was the first thing that rolled out were film industry and community roundtables. I want to pause for a second and give Amy Lillard with Washington Filmworks a massive shout out for driving or helping drive and really leading that process. Thank you, Amy. You're a critical part of this. Like Bobby was saying earlier, you and Washington Filmworks and Whip Smart are just a critical part of all of this as well, and we value your partnership. Roundtables happened, and then the special event vision and research work was a part of our work as well. We took the opportunity to adjust and pivot our mixers. So they became, moved a little bit away from the TED Talks and networking and industry professional development, and really became a sounding board. We wanted to hear from the industries and the communities that we serve, what you needed most. And that was the beginning of our work. This informed our collaborative work, as POC described, between Office of Film and Music Arts and Office of Economic Development to develop the inclusive creative industry strategy, and then to begin work to center it as the future of Seattle's economic priorities. Creatives are the future of work. All indicators, locally, nationally, and globally, support that creativity is necessary to the recovery and to future work. It's what can't be automated. That's why we're here. And it's not just the creatives. It's not just the artist or the director or the actor in a creative sense. It is all of the work and the business, small businesses and vendors and industry that support this work. All the technicians, all the people who you cannot get up on stage and talk into a mic that works without them. Our work here is really important as we move forward, because broad advocacy is really necessary for this pivot and for the industries to stay strong visually and together. Bobby's comment about the council member is exactly right. If there's a gap in understanding with leadership and with about the creative industries and the importance of them, we need to fix that. And so this is work to do that. As this work has been moving forward, of course, the pandemic hit and things slowed down a bit. We had grand plans of 2020 being that year of framework building. Things have slowed down a little bit, obviously, because of the pandemic. But and so what we had to do, along with you, is pivot to triage and recovery. And so with the help of our partners, OFM has helped through this pandemic, help businesses and workers, industry stakeholders navigate policies that have been developed in response to the pandemic. This is mostly done through folks who are here and who are part of the advisory groups that POC and others have mentioned. Longstanding groups like ASSET, the Seattle Special Event Team, which is an advisory group on major events, Seattle Music Commission, and also an emerging advisory groups like the Film Task Force, WANMA, and REVS. All of these groups have been and still are critical to this work of recovery and reopening, and into building the Inclusive Creative Industries program. We did this also through events and creating framework for reopening. We're still working on that with the special event committee. We helped guide Seattle and Seattle leadership into reopening of film production based on the work of Washington Filmworks, getting the framework for film production to happen with the state of Washington. It's also been mentioned here earlier, the 10% allocated from the Small Business Stabilization Fund to creative industries. That is a seed. 10% of a $2.5 million fund is not enough, but it is planting a seed that can grow and that we can take into next levels and steps working with you. Several things looking forward. So that's a look back. Looking forward, there are several critical things and processes that are happening. First of all, the hiring of a permanent creative industries director. That is also the office, or also known as the Office of Film and Music Director. We're really excited about this process. We actually just walked out of a really long conversation about it with some folks. And this is going to be a national search. We want your help. We're already working with a core group of stakeholders, and we're going to expand that out so that we share with you what information about this position, what we're looking for, and then also allow and ask for your help in recruiting folks. We're looking everywhere. This is an exciting opportunity to really bring some and build some leadership into this position. So we're very excited about that. Second thing looking forward, of course, is the establishment of a film commission. The Film Task Force was developed as a year-long advisory group with the primary goal of creating a framework for a film commission. The importance of a commission is that it's written into law. It's not an advisory group that can come in and go away. It is established as a long-term advisory body, like the Seattle Music Commission and like the Seattle Arts Commission. It's a really important piece that has been missing for decades, or just not there for decades. Another big piece of work that we're doing is leading and informing the reimagination of policing, in that the special events process and the film process and venue process really rely on safety and security and often traffic control. This has historically been a function of Seattle Police Department and other police agencies, and it is our opportunity to re-envision that now. There's some great work that's going to be done, I believe, this year to really bring some fun and innovative and good practices that will help financially for the city and help financially for event organizers, and really open up a process that has been governed by a singular entity in the past. So that's some pretty exciting work and going to be a heavy lift as well that we're going to be doing looking into 2021. Most importantly, I'll just echo Pac's discussion about the continued collaboration across sectors, excuse me, and breaking down the silos. It's so encouraging to be here with all of you and to have the opportunity to be in other meetings and conversations as we do all of these things together. It's a silver lining in what's been a really crappy year, but I think that is the most exciting thing, I think, that work that we're doing looking forward. And I just, again, wanted to say thank you to everybody for coming today, and I'll hand it back to you, Pac.
Thank you so much, Chris. That was an amazing report there. You know, I think a lot about the whole de-siloing of departments, and I feel like, you know, to bring back what Bobby was talking about earlier about this world is changing. I think that whole de-siloing process that we're really prioritizing right now is part of the positive change that will come. And I feel like the more and more that we are vulnerable with each other on what can be better, what can change, how are we bringing our best selves to the table, that is how we will truly achieve solidarity across all of the work that we're doing in this inclusive creative economy. So thank you so much, Swenson. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Beth for another round of prizes.
All right, we got a great prize here. This year has been, you know, terrible in a lot of ways, and one of them is that we lost one of our own, filmmaker Lynn Shelton, this year. And so thanks to Lacey Levitt, we have a Watch Lynn Shelton Films t-shirt, which is a red t-shirt, size large, for the first person that can answer the question, or answer my question. Which Lynn Shelton film was showcased in Director's Fortnight at the Cannes Film Festival? While you're all typing. Not quite, Susan. Oh, so close. Everyone's so close. This year, while everyone's typing, this year, in honor of Lynn, the Northwest Film Forum and the Duplass Brothers Productions were able to award a $25,000, there you go, Myron, hump day. We're able to award a $25,000 grant of a certain age grant, because Lynn was an older filmmaker when she started, celebrating women and non-binary filmmakers and giving them access to cash to make a prize. It was awarded in October 2020 to Keisha Ray Witherspoon, and we can't wait to see what she does. Back to you, Pak.
Thank you so much, Beth. All right. You know, I was telling when Alex and I met to sort of talk about what this beautiful mixer would look like, I looked at the lineup of speakers that I have the honor of presenting, and I just said, wow, I mean, look at this. I get to just introduce my family, you know, and this next speaker comes with no exception. In fact, due to the circumstances, I think it calls for a short story. So back in 2005, I was a aspiring songwriter, and you know, writing songs and you know, gigging in Seattle. And at the time, I discovered working with young people, which is now a big part of what we do at Totem Star. And I was volunteering for a nonprofit called the Service Board at the time. And when I first met these fireside story, come on, Megan, no trolling, bro.
That's what I do.
From your TV screen. So anyway, this was the first time that I met this group of young people, mostly from the West Side at the time. It was from White. A lot of these young people were from White Center, and we got to meet them the first time as their mentors. And it was the first time that I heard that there was no music program at a particular high school. And I talked to Kelly. Her name was Kelly Anderson, and she was a junior in high school, and she said she wanted to learn the guitar. And I said, oh, isn't there like a jazz program at your school? And she's like, no, Pac, there's no jazz band, there's no orchestra, nothing. I said, are you serious? This is the first time I ever heard of that. And so I started, you know, inquiring and finding out more about it. And, you know, there is such a disparity, right? And I think that issue right there is a big reason why we're all here, right? To create more equity around arts and culture. So anyway, I thought, wow, we have these students here, these young people that don't have access. And if I go back up to my band house, I can go into the basement and, you know, I got a bass guitar, I got an amp, I got drum kit, I got guitar amps, I got microphones. And, you know, I just couldn't understand that disparity. So right then and there, I said, you know what? I'm going to pack up all these instruments into the back of my truck, my pickup truck in Seattle, go figure, put a tarp over it. And I need to find a space to have jam sessions for young people. And that's when I was introduced to Randy Engstrom, who at the time was the executive director at Youngstown Cultural Arts Center. What I quickly learned about Randy is where there is a need and where he has the way, let's just make it happen. I think I maybe explained my story about why we need a space for maybe a few minutes. And he says, oh, well, Saturdays, the Southwest Interagency Classroom, it's all yours, take it. No contracts, nothing, just, we'll open the door with the key, have your stuff. So for the next 2 years, every Saturday, we had a jam session from 10 to 5, every Saturday for 2 years with all these young people from the service board. And we built a community, and it was just amazing. And as Randy moved on to become the director of the Office of Arts and Culture, that mentality did not leave. I gotta say, I mean, I'm only one person out of a whole Zoom call, but I can just say, like, with my own eyes, Randy has accomplished so much for our young people, for our community, for arts and culture in our city. And now with the Cultural Space Agency coming through, the first PDA of its kind to be chartered by the city since 1982, folks. I mean, that is a testament to Randy's mission to build art space equitably in our city. In fact, Matthew Richter's position as cultural space liaison, I'm pretty sure, but that's the only position of its kind in the entire nation. And so, you know, Seattle really is on the map for this. And to tell you more about the amazing work that Arts is doing and will continue to do, my friend, my brother, Randy Engstrom. Give it up. Unmute and give him some love.
Yes.
Thanks, Pac.
Yeah.
I miss the service band. I miss the days in the hallways of Youngstown. 25 years, Beth. I've been here 25 years, so you got me by 2. And our office was chartered as the Seattle Arts Commission in 1971, the same year that Boeing laid off 65,000 employees, and someone put a billboard next to Boeing Field that said, "Will the last person out of Seattle still turn out the lights?" We have a history with combating economic hardship through our creative community and through our creative industries. We didn't call them that, but in the face of the biggest recession in history, they asked 34-year-old Mayor Wes Ullman why you would form an arts agency in that moment. And he said, because we have to give people hope. And I really think the work that all of you do is what gives people hope. And it has been a little bit of light in the darkness that's been 2020. So thanks for the ways that you all show up and do your craft and make it happen. Yeah, man, 8 years. I am so proud of what we've accomplished, and I am so confident that it will continue into the future because of all the people that I've been able to work with. We reimagined Langston Hughes and chartered Langston, which this year raised and gave out $1 million to individual artists who are impacted by COVID. That didn't exist 8 years ago, but it gave out $1 million this year and streamed live from the Kennedy Center and premiered a world play called Reparations. We brought arts education back to Seattle Public Schools. That's a thing that will help with that issue that Pac was talking about. We imagined and then built King Street Station, the 3rd floor, an exhibition space for creatives of color. We launched the Cultural Space Agency, we filed it 30 days ago. We're signing it on Tuesday. More about that soon. And really, at the end of it all, we led with racial equity. And if you paid attention this summer, you might have realized that racism is still a problem in America. It's a thing we haven't actually dealt with. And it's the result, it is the cause of a ton of disparity that exists culturally, economically, geographically. And so we knew we needed to center that in the work that we did. And that was a huge focus of the roadmap process to the creative economy work that we did over last year. And that was hundreds and hundreds of people in forming that plan. For me, there were 3 things that had to happen this year for me to know it was the right time to step away. We had to survive the presidential election, which we did. We had to survive the most complicated budget process in my 8 years in the city. And we had to get the Cultural Space Agency launched. That all happened last month. And then this week, we welcomed a new recovery director, Pam Banks, long history in the city. And I get to hand all the work that I've been doing in 2020, which was basically entirely focused on COVID and recovery and philanthropy, to her. And I also get to hand the keys to the office that I love dearly to Calandra Childers, who's been my deputy for 7 years. She is the steadiest hand you're gonna find. She's brilliant and capable. And she knows the work backwards and forwards. And she's going to partner with the Arts Commission and the Mayor's Office to do a search process to find the next right leader for this department. I'm so excited to see what that looks like. I'm so excited to see where it goes. I'm not going to go far. I'm going to teach in Seattle U's Arts Leadership Program. I'm going to do a bunch of national consulting around cultural policy, the Biden transition, and COVID recovery. And I'm going to stay on the board of Langston, and I'm going to stay on the board of the Cultural Space Agency, because that's the first and last projects that I had the privilege to build. And it's been the absolute honor of my life to do this work. So thank you for any part of it that any of you played. It's been a weird year. And it seems like it's never going to end. But I will say that I've never been more proud of the work that a government can do than what we did in March, April, and May. We launched the very first cultural relief package in America. We gave $1 million out in the month of March to cultural organizations that were struggling. OED gave out millions of dollars to struggling small businesses over several waves. We seeded the Seattle Artist Relief Fund that Ijeoma Oluo began, that Langston then took over, that gave that $1 million to local artists, individual workers who are being impacted by COVID. We also helped seed the Artist Trust Artist Relief Fund, which raised another $750,000 that went to individual artists and creatives around our state. We negotiated about $800,000 of rent relief for organizations that rent space from the city. And we tried to do what we could to help folks navigate this insane pandemic, whether that's PPP or unemployment insurance, figuring out ways that we could connect federal, county, state, and local resources to the folks who needed it. Because sometimes it's not an arts relief package, it's like rent relief, rental assistance. Artists also rent houses. Artists also need to eat food. Artists also work. And everybody was so radically impacted by it. I was really proud of the way that we rallied. You know, I was also really privileged to be part of a national conversation around getting creative workers working, which put forward about a month ago this pretty ambitious 6-point program. It's part of what I'm going to leave my job to go focus on. But how do we get a creative and cultural voice on the Domestic Policy Council in the new Biden administration? How do we think about AmeriCorps and the National Service Corps through a creative economy workforce? How do we meet the needs of our young people who are being left without access to internet and technology so they can't distance learn in this time? Those are the, you know, some of these issues are actually upstream of the city. Some of these issues actually need pretty urgent attention. And so any way that I can lend some sweat equity into that, I'm gonna do. We also saw pretty quickly in the pandemic the ability to redeploy the vast resource that is our creative community. We were able to hire artists to do pro-social messaging around public health needs through the Public Art Comes to Your Front Yard campaign. We were able to pivot 30 teaching artists and pay them to create 3 10-minute lesson plans so people like me that are learning how to homeschool 5-year-olds have some content to be able to teach their kids with. And I'll say those arts educators were actually quicker on the uptake than the school district, who months later was putting curriculum online. You know, we got to hire a whole bunch of really brilliant documentary artists to capture essential workers and frontline workers in a project called Essentially Seattle. So we never forget this moment that we're in. And we got to partner with the Department of Neighborhoods and really about a dozen other departments to launch Seattle Together, a belonging and social cohesion strategy, because one thing nobody really predicted is that we would be in this for 1.5 years. You know, I think we all knew there would be urgent needs on the front end, and we all knew there would need to be an ambitious recovery vision, but we've been stuck. We've been frozen in time, you know, for 9 months, and it's going to be a few more months before we're out. So how do we meet people's needs where they are? How do we help people's mental health? How do we help people's educational needs? How do we redeploy our creative community to meet the needs that have emerged that we never could have predicted? And that's what Seattle Together really focused on. And the thing that I'm the most excited about, shout out to Tim Lennon and all the folks who we've been talking about the idea of a modern day WPA or a modern day CETA program. We need to put our creative community to work so that we can build the creative economy that we've all been talking about for the last 2 or 10 or 20 years. And there's actually a moment to do that. And so what we're trying to do, we built a model called Hope Corps, which is around redeploying creative workers who've been impacted by COVID to meet community needs like storytelling and urban agriculture and food, like public health messaging, like mental health needs. We have a whole suite of areas that we know there's a massive need for and that we know our community can help. And if we can connect the resources to the opportunity, we think we can make something really exciting happen. San Francisco just launched something called Creative Corps, which was borrowed from the model that we built with them. And they're meeting right now with the governor of California to talk about bringing it statewide. So it is doable. It is something that we could do. And I think it's a way that we could actually model the shit we're talking about. We are talking about how to center, amplify, and celebrate the work of our creative community and prepare for the next economy. What better way to do that than to make that investment now with the folks who've been the most impacted by COVID? So more on Hope Corps soon. Alex Rose, seen here as your moderator and pilot, is actually the project manager for Hope Corps. And even as I leave the city, this is still something I'm going to advocate for locally and nationally. I think it's the single most important investment we could be making in terms of how we're going to find our way through the darkness. it's been the honor of my life, you guys, to do this job. And I'm so glad to have been able to do it with all of you. And while I'm leaving my .gov email address, I'm not leaving the city, and I get to say what I really think on social media. So see you soon.
Nice.
Woohoo!
Much love, Randy. We all love you. We all love you. So much love. All right, moving on. So Beth, we're gonna take a quick break from the prizes. We're gonna move the prizes a little bit later because our next speaker has to run off and basically create the entire inclusive creative economy tonight. It's gonna happen tonight. We got it. We're all good. Reese, oh my goodness. So Reese and I both come from Hawaii, and we very much share that aloha spirit. A lot of the same favorite plate lunch spots and favorite places to hang when we're back on the islands. It was my greatest joy to meet Reese when I joined the Seattle Music Commission, and not only has Reese become a very dear friend of mine, but has also mentored me throughout the whole process of learning what it means to serve on the Seattle Music Commission, specifically to serve as chair of the Youth and Community Committee, which I just have so much joy serving with Ashraf Hasham, who is very much leading that body to the promised land. All right, so without further ado, I know you gotta leave, Reese, but let's all unmute and show and give a warm aloha to the chair of the Seattle Music Commission, Reese Tanimura.
Aloha! You did that pretty in sync. Oh, thank you so much, Pak. I'm Reese Tanimura, and like Pak said, I'm the chair of the Music Commission. I'm also the managing director of Northwest Folklife. I direct a jazz band. I'm a musician. And I'm here to just tell you a little bit about the commission and the work of the commission. One thing that I did want to say, hearkening back to, what Bobby and Randy and everybody has said, is about partnership and moving forward in the spirit of working together. You may have heard Bobby mention Northwest Folklife. We are celebrating our 50th anniversary in 2021. And what a time to do that. We were, I think, one of the first major festivals that had to make a decision about how to maneuver through the pandemic and cancel, so to speak, or postpone, as whatever language folks use. And this, fairly rootsy, very community-based, a 50-year-old organization, 49-year-old at the time, with the help of our partners, Nash, out in the community, Punch Drunk Studios, a whole lot of artists and culture bearers in the community, we were able to put on a small 3-day digital festival. As that was something that I don't know that we would have ever imagined that we would be doing when we left 2019. But that is something that we did alongside working with our city partners, Alex and Sasha, and all the good folks.
Jacob Stone. Jacob Stone. Woo!
To basically pilot a workforce development program. And when we did the tally, in November, we had paid youth to basically contribute 3 hours of work to creative and cultural organizations, both private and nonprofit and government related, which is a huge testament to the power of collaboration and the future of our sector. We also had about 4,000 hours of mentorship and partnership from all of these organizations, supervisors, and just a lot of that just to me is really not just about our organization, but just about the spirit of the Seattle creative community and the cultural community. So, and also a testament to that our sector is it is about not just about economy, but it is about economy. It's not just about community and mental health and strength and agency. It is about creating hope and a future that we can all look forward to. So with that, I would love to introduce to you many of the folks who I think are on the call. If you are looking at the screen here, you might also match them up with some of the squares here in the chat. But our commission here is laid out. We are a body that has 21 seats. And right now we're a little smaller than 21, but we hope to get back to that soon. We have obviously, you know, folks from all over the sector, independent artists, nonprofit, developers within the space, in the music business industry, lawyers, folks from the Recording Academy. So really great representation from across our sector. Also folks who wear many hats, as many of you do. And our work is to basically advise and work with the Office of Film and Music, Office of Arts and Culture, Office of Economic Development on policy and advocacy that will help support our forward motion. One of our high priorities, or one of our integrated priorities, is to make sure that we are working in a manner that advances anti-racism and equity within our industry. You know, which will be very forward to say that the music industry has had a lot of, you know, a lot of its basis based and rooted in racially inequitable practice. So how do we change that, and how do we lead on that? So our values, like I was saying, anti-racism, a little bit of example of how we embed that into our work. The commission offered racial equity trainings in 2019 for music industry folks to take part in, knowing that, you know, some of our orgs and our businesses are smaller and don't always have access to necessarily be able to do that, or even the number of people to discuss particular aspects of that within the industry and how to work on that. So that was something that we offered in 2019, and it was a little bit harder in the digital space, but we're going to figure it out so that we can make sure to continue that work. Obviously, mitigating some of the impacts of the pandemic. Many of our commissioners, as well as committee members who are from all over the community, gave a lot of evaluation and input into reopening guidelines. And that was everybody from working with, you know, larger organized groups like WANMA to Inspire Washington and Humanities Washington, so state organizations. I know that the Film Task Force and the film industry also had input into some of going forward what reopening will look like, as we know that some of the state guidelines that have come out have been fairly unclear. Let's just say diplomatically unclear. And so hopefully, as we know that things will open up again, that we can do it in a better manner that will help get people back to work. And I think a big part of industry support, you know, these mixers have been a part of it. We've had some workshops. We've tried to make sure that we've also worked with folks like KXP and other resources that are putting on professional development to make sure that those opportunities are amplified. And I think that community voice is really important to how we've moved. It's not just about, you know, the commissioners that you see listed or the folks that'll come up into the seats, but many of our committee members are community members that just come and participate regularly and bring ideas to the table and then go back and do the work. Because I think particularly for the creative industries, I think we know we're pretty hands-on go-getter folks. So that's one thing that you can often find us digging in and, doing the work right alongside our OFM compatriots. One thing that's also changed this year is that we created a public nomination process. Chris and Megan and Alex and Ashraf worked really hard to make sure that there was a way for more input for folks to nominate so that we could make sure that we were hearing from all kinds of different folks that were interested in serving on the body of the commission. So we're in the middle of that process, and hopefully, as now that the budget is set, that the council will be able to focus on moving some nominations through to the commission. So we have 3 subcommittees. We have our executive, which is made up of myself, Charlize, Puck, and Nate, who chair committees. And then we also have the Advocacy and Economic Development Committee, talking a lot about all the things that are affecting us right now and our ability to make a living. And then the Youth and Community Committee that this year has focused a lot on digital equity and how we can work across many departments and many factions. I see Sabrina in the chat of the meeting here that helped get us up to speed on what's happening, in the state and across the nation on this kind of work. I love that Alex is just like, oh, go to the next slide. Thanks, Alex. And this, the task force that we kind of worked, the ad hoc work group, we had, anywhere from 8 to, I think we had like 15 or 20 people at some meetings. Sometimes it was to bring together speakers to help us understand, the larger picture of digital equity. And then sometimes it was to hear from folks about, particularly about how, on a ground level, how not having access to those resources is affecting our ability to get education, get, work, all of those things. And it's not the final act, but one of the culminating things we did was send an advocacy letter to make sure that digital equity was a part of the budgeting process, or it had a thought in the budgeting process and going forward into the next couple of years. I touched on this a little bit, the public nominations, really awesome. We had 60 nominations submitted through, I think, a Google form, and then we went through, we had some of our film industry colleagues help us, kind of go through the lists of folks and their credentials and look at the work they're doing. And I think in the next couple of weeks, there will be some process to reach out to some of the contenders to move forward. And again, that's a process that we're waiting also on the city council to open up that their work to nominate as well. So speaking of working with council and educating, we did have with our film partners, had some sit down with some council members, wrote an advocacy. I know a lot of you probably received emails from us sort of outlining some of the points to drive home to our council members about the importance of basically our voice in the city. This year, this city budget has all kinds of pressures on it. And starting in the process, there were positions that were set to be taken out of the Office of Film and Music, particularly, as well as OED. And through that process of, education, talking both from the office's side and from the task force and the Music Commission, I think that they understood that every person on board is really valuable and will be really valuable going forward into reopening. So we thank you all for participating in that advocacy, because that is really what it takes. It's not just about, you know, who's got the name or the the commission attached or the title attached. It's really about us raising our collective voice as an industry and saying what's important and how we should center ourselves in moving forward into the new economy. So that's my spiel, and thank you for, you know, thank you really for being here. I think just gathering together with all of you is, it's hard in this time. You know, we don't see, I think that the reason we're so exuberant when we see each other's faces in this spaces is that we are, many of us are creatures that want to have that interaction and have that that relationship. And so this is one of the ways that we can do it. And then hopefully, you know, there's a lot of you too that I see that I haven't met yet. And I hope that, you know, if there's something that is driving burning questions on your mind about our work or ideas or thoughts that you have, please feel free to give me a shout.
Thank you so much, Reese. Love and aloha to you. You know, everybody, if you're ever going to a really important meeting, say with city council or talking to some, you know, like, and you really want to have your facts right, and you want to make sure you have a powerful impact in the presentation. I'll tell you right now, you always want to have Reese in the room with you, because Reese is the truth. And I know with 100% confidence, Reese, as long as you're working towards this inclusive creative economy, we will see a lot of success in this city. Much love, Reese. All right. Moving on, where's Beth? I think we got to do
I'm here.
Two sets of giveaways
Trivia
now,
break.
don't we? Time for some trivia. All right, I hope everyone's ready. Go for it, Beth.
All right, so we are going to give away some experiences because experiences are amazing. The first one we're going to do is 1 hour songwriting consultation with Sue Ennis. And your trivia question is, what musician who got their start in Seattle has won 28 Grammys of a record 80 nominations, an Emmy, and the Academy's Humanitarian Award? I know everyone's madly typing. There you go, Ben Melby. Sorry, Louise, I saw Ben's name first. Ben Melby it is. Our next is 1 hour studio time at Formosa Interactive Seattle, which is formerly Clatter and Din. And our trivia question is, what well-known club was the fictional place of employment for the female lead, Bridget Fonda, in Singles? Typing, close, John. There you go, Kate Becker. 1 hour studio time. And feel free to re-gift. This is a great opportunity to give experiences to those you love. Our next experience is 30 minutes one-on-one mentor sessions or chat with KEXP's DJ Charlize. And this is a two-part question. What was the original call sign for KEXP and when did it switch? Randy, close up. You're very close, Lacey. There we go, Michael. There you go, 2001. KCMU switched to KEXP in 2001. Alrighty, am I moving on to Swagorama as well? Or are we gonna just like-
Swag it up, Beth.
Blow it out. Let's blow it out
Swag
with the trivia. Boom. All right, we've got swag from IATSE and SAG-AFTRA, Sub Pop, and OFM for the grabbing on the speed round. So first, union swag, including t-shirt, mug, scarf, socks, and lens cleaners. What do these films have in common? Your Lucky Day, East of the Mountains, and Blue Waters. Close, Lacey. Not quite. You're getting closer, John. Thinking about support of film in Washington. I would take incentive films. I'll go with Sarah Crow incentive films. Sarah Crow. Local Lens, the Washington Filmworks Local Lens program. All right, so for our OFM swag, we have, at what iconic Seattle location did news about a Macklemore video leak on local media, resulting in 10,000 fans flocking to the filming location? There you go. Which Dicks? Never thought I'd say that on, there we go. All right. Tina Marie Tyler has both answers. Dicks on Broadway. All right, and our final giveaway is Sub Pop swag. Tote bag, sticker pack, mug, and $50 gift card. In 1992, the New York Times unwittingly published a list of grunge slang made up by Sub Pop's Megan Jasper. Name 2 of the slang terms, any 2 from this list. I'm not going to give you the list because then you'd know the answers. Okay, Lacey, you've got 1. I think Swenson got 2 in a row. Boom. Sub Pop it is. Thank you all for playing our trivia game. This is very exciting. We love to give away stuff and support local arts and artists.
Yay, everybody who won, especially you, Swenson. All right. Okay, folks. So we are at our last speaker for.
Wait a minute. I gotta say something. So I was given the right answers, but I was giving them to Lacey because earlier I was actually, like texting her, and I had all the right answers. That's all I'm saying. I had all. Ask Lacey. She's proof.
Can confirm he had most of the right answers. Most of the right answers.
All right. Well, you all gonna have to work that out outside of the chat.
He gets a T-shirt. He'll be fine.
Just remember to be inclusive with the way you handle that. All right. All right. So,
I'm just glad I get to spend a half a day with Kate Becker.
We love you, Kate. We love you, Kate. All right. So we are at our final speaker for the night. As you all remember, during our Who's in the Room exercise at the beginning, there were a lot of folks in the room that are involved with film. So it's very important that we hear from this next speaker, who is part of the film task force. Although we just met formally for the first time in the virtual green room for this event, even though he's out there in orbit floating through space, I do feel like the cosmic forces brought us all together. So, born and raised in Seattle, he is the owner of Chameleon Creative Services, and he spent most of his career in the sound field, especially going back and forth between sound and camera. Check this out. His credits include Grey's Anatomy, 21 and Over, World's Greatest Dad, and an Emmy for Bill Nye the Science Guy. My new BFF. Everybody unmute and make some noise for Myron Partman from the film task force.
Well, thank you.
Myron.
You guys can all hear me still, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. So first of all, I'd like to say that I'm humbled and honored to be here with all of you. What a great bunch of people. Look, I'm on talking. Excuse me. So anyway, I just wanted to say I'm really happy to be representing the Film Task Force. And if you look at the slide, you can see all the wonderful people that represent the film industry, everywhere from the unions, from the sound folks, the sound crew, the crew, and the producers. And you noticed that I put sound first because we know who runs the show. Anyway, but as the first slide says, if you want to go down, first slide says a lot. And if you don't believe it, the next time you watch a movie or an episode of your favorite show, stick around and watch the credits. I know a lot of us do. But you got to look at how many people and how many businesses are listed. And if you think of all the support services that are not listed, You know, the filming skills, the storytelling skills, the music skills, all the creative skills are all shared by gaming and VR and AR, the new industries coming out, and all the creative fields. So why is it that when it comes to film, the city of Seattle has never had a film commission? Every major city has one. And for these other cities, this has been a very important entity as part of their city's economic development portfolio. Well, now we're going to have one. Woo! Should be clapping. Yeah, we're going to have one. And you see, because in 2019, after several roundtable discussions with the film industry and community stakeholders, the OFM formed the Film Task Force. And its mission is to create a film commission. Slide 4, it shows you the areas where those stakeholders represent. And as I said before, it's, you know, it's everything from the crew up to the unions, up to the producers, and it's fantastic. But, you know, there's a good amount of diversity on this task force. And there's a mandate to continue to extend that trend as we seek the Film Commission. So let's dig a little deeper here. These are the subcommittees, and while you're looking at them, I'll tell you a little bit about what we've done so far. So the Film Commission Committee has completed the bylaws and submitted them to the mayor's office, and they have been accepted with minor changes. The City Policy Committee has been spearheading the call for demanding a seat at the table when it comes to allocation of police funds and how it would affect the film and special events industry, as well as attending meetings, making phone calls, emails to council members to encourage them to keep the OFM staffing budget in place. The marketing committee has sent out press releases, participated in the Seattle Film Summit, and is setting the framework for the Film Commission's marketing plan as it goes forward. And this effort would include attracting films to Seattle, keeping films made here, and a PR and local communities, local community outreach. The Equity and Inclusion Committee has also been busy putting forth the guidelines that will ensure BIPOCs and marginalized peoples have an opportunity to thrive in this creative economy. And this would include a huge outreach effort, internships, mentoring, policy making, and you know, we're just getting started. And it's been a lot of hard work. And this 3-minute presentation doesn't say it all, but it's paying off. And if you want to know more, make sure you come to our breakout room. And the good news is the Film Commission was approved as part of the 2021 budget, and the nomination process will start in January. I've done some work with Alex for the nomination process for the Music Commission, and I have a lot of, I look up, she's given me a guideline. I look up to what she has done. She's done a great job. So, you know, you can check out their information slide if you want more information. And what? Okay, hey guys, look, I got a friend here and he really wants to say something to you. So I'm gonna let him say something, okay? Oh, a lot of people in here. Hey, hey everybody, I'd like to say thank you very much, and thank you to the Film Task Force and the OFM and you for listening. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now back to you, Myron. Myron? Thank you.
Oh, Papa Smurf.
Hilarious.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, Myron. Oh, all right, Beth. we are at that point in the night where it's time to get everybody together in breakout rooms, huh?
Indeed, we are. We're a little, you
Yeah.
know, everyone wants to talk. You've been sitting listening to us yammer
Yeah.
on.
Thank
So
you
now
so
it's
much.
our chance to have some good discussion.
Yeah, you know, what a year it's been. Can you all believe that it is almost the end of 2020, a year that will definitively go down in history books? Oh my God, how will we refer to this year in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? And where do we go from here? Where does it take us? What informs our work? What are we gonna do to rebuild our society better, especially in regards to arts and culture and the inclusive creative economy? At this time, Beth, we're gonna be going to some breakout rooms. If we have a list of rooms coming out right now,
Okay,
and
ugly slide alert. Sorry, this is really bad.
It's fine.
It's
But
beautiful.
just read vertically in chunks.
There we go. So we got 5 rooms for y'all. Beth, you want to talk about Blue Sky Seattle?
I do. I'd love to hear what y'all think it's going to look like when we're built back better. Let's think about 2025, y'all.
All right. So you want to get down with Beth, you know where to go. Ashraf, what's going on in your breakout room, Ashraf?
Hey y'all, we're just going to be talking about what is going to be going on for the next generation. Bobby talked about it when he spoke. This is where the future is. How are we preparing them to get in these industries that we're all enjoying ourselves? Or whatever you want to talk about.
Kids these days. Kids these days. All right. Alex, what's going on in your room? You clinking? You're going to be clinking glasses on mute? All right. If you want to join Alex for a talk about how we can all come together, how we can clink those glasses, whether real or virtual, spend some time with Alex in her room. Megan, reporting in from live on television. What you talking about in your room?
Well, you know, some people are like, what do you mean by creative industry? I don't understand. So you might want to join this room for that, or maybe you have a really strong opinion about what a creative industry is. That could also be for you. So yeah, come on in.
All right, and you know, answer that question, why do I care, right? And finally, if you all want to get down with me, Daniel Pak, to talk about keeping your businesses running and your supporters engaged through this time, stop at the merch table on your way out. All right, so with that, I think we're going to get into breakout rooms for about 15 minutes, and then we will reconvene for some final takeaways, final sharebacks, and then that'll be it for the mixer. So again, I think Alex is going to post the breakout room selections. Choose your rooms, and we will see you in just a little bit. Well, we are all back, everybody. That seemed way too short. You know, there's never enough time to talk about arts and culture and the inclusive creative economy and what we're all going to do to rebuild this city better. I know we got about a couple minutes. Did anyone want to share some big, quick takeaways from the breakout rooms you were all in? We maybe have time for a few.
In 2025, we would love to see Seattle be a leader in the country in breaking down the silos between our industries and looking at what the creative industries umbrella can do and how the city can support all of us.
Beautiful, beautiful. You had a pretty robust discussion in Blue Sky, huh?
We did, actually.
Awesome.
A little
Anyone
meandering, but it
else?
was good.
Any other representatives from any rooms want to share? That's really great.
Oh, we did not have enough time in our
Yeah.
what is creative industries and why do I care, but we got a good start to connect at a later time.
So why do you care, Megan?
Because creative industries are the future. That's why I care. And they're the way out of COVID.
Anyone else want to share? The future is now. Yes, it is. That's why we're here.
V told us about the go-go dancing community and their need for work and income and all the way they're getting through in the virtual club scene, which I thought was fascinating.
Well, I'll just share real quick. In our room, you know, it became very evident that we are all trying to increase the value proposition of arts and culture. You know, it's the first thing to get cut in our schools. We're all fighting for the same money, right? I mean, I've had some really interesting conversations with some folks in philanthropy, specifically a lot of the bigger family foundations in our region, and there is a lot of DEI work going on. In fact, one prominent family member from the Satterberg Foundation just wrote a manifesto to her organization, basically saying that the money that goes into foundations does not belong to any individuals. It belongs to the community. And if we as a foundation are not willingly trying with all of our might to effectively get that money out to the communities that need it right now, all we're doing is hoarding the money. And so that manifesto is going to not only that foundation, but I think she's going to get it published. And so it's important for us to continue as the arts and culture and creative sector, you know, to stand in solidarity, to build coalitions with each other, to collaborate, to actually exchange contact information and follow up with someone that you've just met, because you never know when your neighbor down the street will join you for dinner when COVID is over. And so, you know, I think it's up to all of us to really work as much as we can to take risks, to really build back that value proposition of arts and culture as we move forward. With that, as your host for the night, along with Beth, thank you so much for spending your time with us on a Wednesday night in December as we move towards the end of 2020, a year that will go down in history. And let us all write that history so that arts and culture in 20, 30, 40 years is way up there, you know, and so that, and ultimately for me, I always think of the young people because that's who I hold myself accountable to. I want to make sure, I personally want to make sure that young people 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now have a place, a strong place where they can continue to make art, tell their stories, tell their unique, share their ancestral history and connect with their soul and their heritage. And I have visions of a creative artist hub where, you know, maybe we together are able, maybe through the Cultural Space Agency, maybe we're able to buy 2 or 3 city blocks and give it to the community so that there's theatrical arts, music, dance, visual arts, theater, all the art forms that we know and love and support with every day of our work, that there's a place for that. And maybe the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th stories of all that is arts housing for artists to live and breathe in this city and continue to create and continue to build the legacy that Seattle really is. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. Stay in touch with us. We love you all. We are a family. Maybe some of us just met, but we are an arts and cultural family here in Seattle. Let's all stay in touch. I know, you know, to stay in touch with the Office of Film and Music, can one of you post that email in the chat so that we can all stay in touch with it as we move forward with this incredible work. As you know from our speakers today, we are standing in solidarity more than ever. There you go, Film and Music Office at seattle.gov. Send all your comments there. And let's just all stand in solidarity with each other as we move into 2020. One thing that I did share at a recent Arts Fund, Arts and Cultural Partners Summit, which is last week, was that solidarity really starts right here. When we explore how we as individuals can best serve our communities, that allows us to best form collaborations and coalitions to move forward. So with that, it's my pleasure to be your host for the final mixer of 2020. These will continue into 2021. So please join us again. We'll see you again. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Much love and aloha to you all.
Good riddance 2020.
Na 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 na.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Happy
Really fun night.
holidays.
Hey, y'all.
Bye.
Bye. So much love.